Well, we're at the start of the second week of the Rock Your Journal. I hope that you're all enjoying it so far. I know that I'm enjoying seeing everybody's different versions of these prompts that I'm giving. So, you get fed up of looking at your own stuff sometimes, and it's nice to see how other people can interpret just a few words into something completely different to what you'd got in mind. So let me show you my version from the prompt yesterday. That was my garden, and there we go. So this was altering a picture, and what I did was I'd got this lovely countryside scene of this really rickety, rotten old wooden fence with the beautiful countryside in the background, a little bit of a river. And I'd got this image of this lady, which I've been dying to use her for ages. She's got no legs though, bless her. So I had to put the fox there to hide the fact that she didn't have any legs. But I like the fact that, she was resting her handbag on the top of the rickety old wooden fence, and she was leaning her back against the post here. There was a number here, number 4. So I've covered that over with some clouds, apt for in the sky. As I say, the fox was covering over the fact that she got no legs. And then I found this lamp that I managed to position in such a way that the sun looks as though it's the light from coming out of the lamp. I put down some paper napkin, like the white backs of the paper napkins. I dyed some of those. So I put that down in the first instance and then stuck the image on top of that. And then I found some words in one of my Tim Holtz books, and it says, "The young woman was silent to find she was so perfectly alone." Well, you can't get more alone than that, can you? Stuck in a field, dressed up to the nines. All right, to today's prompt. And today's prompt is a little bit different. So it's called, it actually has a name. So it's called Altered Book Poetry. Now, some of you may have seen this before, this altered book poetry, and I've actually done a couple of pieces myself, and it's actually quite good fun to do. It can be quite amusing. So now that's all inked up with my perfectly imperfect screw heads. I shall stick that into the front of my book. So, altered book poetry. Let me put my pen in there, because then, I haven't dated it. So then I need to find the 8th, the 8th of the 2nd, 21. Okay, let's go and find number 8. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I found it. It was the very last page in my book. So first thing I'm going to do is explain to you exactly what altered book poetry is. You may have come across it before. It also has a couple of other names as well, which is blackout poetry or hidden poems. And all you need is some book pages with text on. It could be a magazine that has got text on. It could be a newspaper that's got text on. But whatever it is you decide to use, it needs to have some text. So you could have a look at some of your books that you might have, so like a Jane Austen book. You could also have a look at maybe an old Reader's Digest book, and pick out one of the pages from out of there. You don't want a page that has got a lot of speech text in it, all right? You know, Mrs. Miggins said, and then, you know, whatever it is that she says. So you want a full block of text like this. Now what you could do is you could cut out a paragraph out of one page and a paragraph from another page, or from a different book altogether, and then put all those paragraphs together so that they form a single page. A couple of ways in which you can do it is you can go through and you can pick out words, individual words that speak to you, and make a note of them on a separate piece of paper, all right? And then sort of just have a look and see if they kind of make a little bit of sense, and then find interlinking words like as, and, that could then link those words together to form a kind of poem, I suppose, or maybe a piece of prose, whatever, you know. Now, I'm no poet laureate, but I have done this a couple of times, and it's actually made me giggle what you can actually come up with. So one of the ways in which you can do it is you can just get a pencil to start off with and just circle the words that you want to keep. You can then decorate the background page, so all the words that are left, you could black them out, which is why it's also called blackout poetry. So you could use maybe a Sharpie pen and colour in the rest of the page. You could use acrylic paint and a fine brush, and paint around the words that you've got left, and then you can decorate then on top of that. So let's just choose a page at random. So let's have a go here and just see what I could actually pick out. And in fact, I used my Stabilo Sharpie, my Stabilo highlighter pens, to just pick out a few words. So, Major Collingwood had set the alarm. Okay, and have a practice at this first, just so as you can get into the flow of it. So Major Collingwood had set the alarm. The light from his bicycle lamp he left in the barn. Okay, so that's the idea of it, is that you're taking all the script that is there and then picking and choosing your own words, but putting them in such an order that they then make sense to you. And then you can decorate the page up, as I say, by using your paint, by using your Sharpie pen, and blocking out the rest of the words, so therefore then these words are then in order and they make some form of poetry. You could do several pages and stick several pages on your book, so then they flip up. As I say, you could do different paragraphs from different books and see what you can make out of it. Now, as I say, it did make me giggle, some of the things that you come out with. I'm no poet laureate, as I've already said, so I'm not going to make a poem out of mine because I'm kind of not that way inclined. But so I'll end up making some kind of a mini story. But obviously then once I glue my page in, if I paint it, I could decorate the background of what I've painted. I could add some decorative flowers on there as well to just break up the monotony of the text as well. But it'll be quite intriguing to see what you will come up with, because as I say, it did make me chuckle what you can end up creating. So all you need, some text, paper, books, magazines, newspapers, a highlighter pen, maybe a pencil, maybe a Sharpie pen, maybe some acrylic paint, and see what you can end up creating and have some fun. So as I say, if you have a look on Pinterest, there's loads of different ideas, and if you type in altered book poetry or blackout poetry or hidden poems, you'll see some people's examples of what they have done with their pages and how creative they've been, because sometimes you need to be able to link from one word to the next. You could even cut out these individual little words that you've chosen and just stick them in your book. It doesn't have to be the whole book page. So have some fun creating your own little story or your own little poem and see what you come up with. So that's today's prompt. Have some fun, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.